Hooray for cool intro music. Now, with that over, welcome to my video walkthrough for the Apple II version of Lady Tut here on YouTube. Let's pause things while I give some background. Lady Tut is a maze game where you rotate some 2 wide walls to find keys and put them into locks. There is 1 lock on levels 1 and 6, and 2 on the rest except for level 9, which has 4. At the end of level 9, you find Tut's tomb. Lady Tut is one of the first games I solved, so it has a special place in my heart, though I'd find it to be a good game even without this bit of personal history. There's also a Commodore version which I assume is similar, but you'll probably want to look for a Commodore video for any specific details there. I'm using the Apple IIe emulator at regular speed with 8462 on the numpad to go up, left, right, and down. Also for the gun, I'm using the left alt to shoot left and the right alt to shoot right. There's no way to shoot vertically, so vertical passage can be tricky. Also, if you imagine the layout, it's kind of tough to switch from moving to shooting on a PC with an Apple emulator, so you need to plan a bit ahead if you want to shoot something. So, the left-right shooting mechanics also parallel the game Tutankham, which is fun as well, but that game is timed in with a scrolling map. Let's start on level 1 here, getting the rings and the key. 2 of the rings are pretty easy, and 1 is tough. We need to flip a lot of doors to get it, and you may have noticed I got the ring with confidence, not worrying about if monsters would chase me. That's because they cannot touch a square where a key or ring was or will be. This is a nice break for you, and we can't really take advantage of it right now, but we can flip the wall like this to get rid of one enemy, and this probably effectively gets rid of another, as long as a snake doesn't come up here and get in our business. And I got lucky with going northwest or to the upper left to get the ring. Sometimes there are enemies spread out around it, both below it and to the right, but not now. So there's going to be some waiting here because of how the enemies move, which is they go straight until they hit a wall and then they turn at the wall, and they have a chance of turning at an intersection, of which there are 91. It's a 13 by 7 maze of intersections. They can just sit and bounce back and forth, which is irritating if you need to go somewhere. This level wasn't too bad. Oh, and there are also 4 types of enemies. Let's see. Oh, I fumbled with the keys, so I couldn't get that orange ring. 4 graphical types of enemies. However, they all seem to behave the same, so they're not worth saying, okay, I want to prioritize shooting one enemy over another. Also here, you need to see whether or not you want to get the ring or the key when you get to this upper area. There will be a lot of choosing which to tackle first. Okay, that bug is playing prevent defense. Once it goes up, we push the wall right and we walk in. Now it would be nice to get that ring, but it might not be practical. So we're going to dispel the enemies in 2 steps. There, we push them off to the left, and then once they were above us, we push them away. I wanted to give the skull a chance to go left. Okay. This is the way lives get lost carelessly, by trying for a ring that isn't there, but I am safe this time. There's still the matter of dealing with the bug in the skull. There we go. Just kind of flip them around. I probably used a little more finesse. I don't think that's the perfect word because it wasn't very finessed. It was more, I've played this game so I know what I can get away with, and if you haven't, you might not be able to. Oh, the gun. I love that screen. Just with a big gun and low resolution graphics. So we can see the fourth enemies here, which I always thought were frogs, but I realized they're probably sphinxes. I wonder if they were harpies or griffins, but this takes place in Egypt presumably, so I guess they're sphinxes. You have the snakes, you have the bugs, and you have the skeleton heads, or the skulls. So now we need to get to that key, but if there is nobody by the ring, we might as well get the ring. There's going to be a problem here. With all these enemies, there are probably going to be some guarding the locks and some guarding the key. So it would be nice to use a shot or two here. Remember, we need to get to level 9. We were at level 3, so at this point we can use 6 bullets per level, assuming we get no more shots. And there's one. And one problem with shooting enemies is that they might not reappear around you. That seems like it'd be a benefit, but often you don't want them to be at the next place you need to visit. And that can happen if you're too trigger happy. Eventually, you know, if you spread them out by shooting them enough, the odds will pile up, and you will have to deal with enemies blocking the next area you need to get to. This isn't too bad here, or it wouldn't have been too bad if my finger hadn't slipped. Okay, finally I lucked into the enemies bouncing off to the left. I got the key, and now if you're doing really well with shots, you just might want to kill enemies for expedience, even if you could sneak around them, like here. Just get rid of the snake and get to level 4. Okay, let's go for the key. Vertically, we always want to get the vertical stuff if it's available, because the vertical stuff is the most dangerous to get. Here, that one ring way on the right, it can obviously be fatal if an enemy is around and you go up the right, because you won't have any defense against them. So it may be worth shooting an enemy or two to get there. Now, you need the bugs to come over. There we go. And I actually could coax the bug into... Okay, there is a non-zero chance that the skull or bug could have guessed exactly correctly where I was and gotten me, but probably not. So this is tricky now. I may want to wait here for a skull to come up, or I might have had to, and then by the lock just shoot to the left. There's not much you can do about that. Just use a bullet there. Here I might use some bullets too, just to get through the skeletons that are guarding so diligently. Okay, I only need to use one. I was waiting for when they stopped banding together. This made things easier for me just to... I probably shouldn't have wasted ammo there. But it is tough to get to that second key, and then you do have a long way back. Ouch, okay. There I used, knowing that enemies bounce randomly, to kind of flip the bug over, and I can just sneak across there, and I can sneak there. I got it, alright, yeah. this is going pretty well. Level 5 is going to be tough because you have some open areas and the enemies will bounce around a lot, up and down and left and right. Let's see if we can get that blue ring nearby quickly. You just sneak in. I don't recommend doing this if you're playing unless you get things done right away and enemies don't show up. So the other two are not too bad. Actually, what I said last level about the skulls following you, you can hide at the ringer key itself, but it is a pain in the neck to get out if an enemy is guarding you. So we have one more key to get here. We can afford to be patient. We can afford to shoot enemies too. And you can see what I said about shooting enemies. You need to be careful where they come back, because that can ruin things for you. Okay, this was actually, again, pretty nice. That one skeleton that ran at me, I knew to run back and then run up or down. And now, level 6. It looks the same as level 1, but don't be fooled. Level 7 is going to be a lot tougher than level 2. The same general procedure as for level 1 works. However, I do think level 6 has more enemies, so I gotta be a bit more careful. However, I also do have a gun to shoot enemies down. We are now at level 6. We have 4 levels to go. That means 15 shots per level, so that shouldn't be a problem. Ooh, we only have 3 enemies guarding the blue ring, so we should probably get that. That was the most effective enemy to kill, and now one nice thing about this too is that if any enemy decides to get stuck in the lower left, we can blast it. It's not that easy because you still have to make sure you get a good horizontal shot in, but there's not the annoyance of waiting. So now we have 65 shots for 3 levels, and these are going to matter because enemies will turn invisible now, and it's a pain, but it does add some interesting strategy. You don't want to just go shooting like crazy unless there is an enemy you know is between you and a key or ring, and it's also a bit of a pain to keep track of how many enemies are in any one area because they do appear and disappear randomly. Ah! No! The key gummed up on me. So, it happens. I'm being a bit trigger happy. I figure I can waste about 20 shots. Ah, now the invisibility. It's important to remember that it will probably take more than 4 shots to wipe everybody out. So you don't want to wipe everyone out, just everyone you can. I had to guess about an enemy popping up there, and this is unfunny. Ah, okay, we only have 3 enemies around now. Make that 2. Now we don't know where the enemy is going to be, so sometimes we can, or we may need to waste shots. Okay, still at 66. That's doing pretty well. Now I would like to sucker the snake into the area with the door that's right below me, but I don't have to. It would be nice to save a shot, but I'm not going to waste too much time here waiting for them. It's probably good enough to shoot them down. Yeah, it's a pain to prepare to shoot. because the buttons are so far away. But okay, good, yay. Now let's see. Yes, we blocked another enemy off. And this isn't great for us. There are still lots of them floating around, but I think we can shoot a few more. Level 7 is maybe the toughest in the game. The enemies are just flooding the area. We have 6 of them, as I count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where they are. I could just blast away at them. Okay, this is good. It was worth waiting a bit. Okay, I needed to shoot there for safety, and wow, it must have bounced left and then right and then come back down. However, this is pretty good. Okay, the invisible frog or whatever, I still think of it as a plague of frogs or whatever from Egypt, from the Bible. I like frogs better. It's cool to think of annoyed frogs. I mean, the sphinxes, we all know about the sphinx, but the frogs, man. I'd hate to fight giant frogs. Well, giant anything, really. Okay. And it's not too bad to deke a snake here. And because we can shoot about 30 times per level, I'm going to use those shots. Especially for this next key, because there are no little doors here you can flip. And I am not waiting for the enemies. See, it's tough to keep my hands on the right keys that I need. I hit the Windows key instead of Alt. And that took about 10-15 shots. Did I start at? I think I started at 63, so that's 11. But worth it to go through quickly and not have to wait for the bad guys. I remember the first time through I was worried, oh, how many bullets do I need? How many levels are there going to be? And so I was just saving stuff up. And I didn't want to run out of bullets on the next health level. Okay, this one I may actually sacrifice lives too. If it's appropriate. Okay, yeah, the enemies really flood the zone here. And at some point, it might be worth it just to sacrifice a life just to get to the main area. Or to the left edge at the center, because otherwise you could be waiting around a while. Okay, this is pretty smooth. Also, I'm not sure if the walls are meant to be like that, or it's part of the crack that didn't quite fix the walls right. In any case, this is actually a safe area. The enemies don't go by the doors, which is nice until an enemy gets trapped in here, and you have to time things right so that when they're going right, you go right. Wait a minute. There, I was worried it just jumped out at me. How did it do that? So, I'm going to show what I mean here. Oh, I thought I had to walk a bit left to shoot it, but I don't. Okay, this is not oh, I got really good luck there to have a passage all the way north. And now there's a lot of waiting here because I just need to make sure that the enemies can't see me and that I can see the enemies, or that they aren't too far near me. Rather, too near me. And now might be a good time to get started. I have 40 shots, I should use them. That is another problem with shooting enemies, they can pop up. But the nice thing here is that the very last key is not back up in the upper left. And the enemies are trapped. They cannot reach you in the right area. Alright. So that's me winning Lady Tut. I maybe could have been a bit more aggressive with my shots, but I'm pretty happy with how it went. I just lost a guy when I fumbled, so I'm pleased with the performance. And Mr. Crackman bids thee, "Hail, thou art a good player." Ouch. Well, not much to see with Lady Tut here, so I wanted to say thanks for following me through the video, and if you think it's earned it, like and subscribe. If you haven't already, I really appreciate it. They go a long way in encouraging me to throw out more content like this, where I look through an old game I enjoyed back in high school, or maybe one I never got around to and discovered after, and a bit sad I missed it, but I don't have to now, and neither do you. So, see you next video.